Hello tubers, Mezcal here. I'm on my way to the city. I haven't been into Sydney City for so long, well over 10 years now. I believe I need an Opal card to get there. I remember when I was a boy, little paper tickets that were sort of about 2 inches by 1 inch, and they came out of a dispenser and tore off, and you'd rip off half of it and take that as your return. Oh, how things have changed. So yeah, going to meet electro1622. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. He makes things for dentist industry, basically crowns and all of that sort of stuff. But what we're going to do today is try and cast some things, gold and silver, and he mentioned chrome as well. Should be a fun day. Let's get into it. Missed the fucking thing.
Stop at Milson's Point. Next stop, Wynyard. Central. First stop, Central.
What kind of wax is that?
Just wax.
Wax.
It's dental carving wax, but it's just like...
Yeah.
It's got a mixture of beeswax, canoidal wax, and a couple of other waxes in it, just to give it the right working temperature and consistency. See, it's coming smooth.
Yeah.
Then after, when we hit it with a flame, it'll go all like dead smooth.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
So it's just explaining to me that this is going to be made into a silicon mould, then we're going to make a wax mould, and then we're going to put that into investment. Okay, so here it is sitting in a silicon 10-minute set. There's teeth in there, mate.
yeah, that's from an implant job I was doing. You get different grades of it.
Where do you get this material?
Where?
Yeah.
Dental supplies.
Yeah. He's using. Oh wow. There's a coil wrapped around that, is there? In there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my furnace. It's already up to 900 degrees.
I can smell UV curing.
Right, that's...
Zippo ever. Pull the top open. It's got a welder thing in there for the flint. So here's the cast he's made.
Get the shine on it so you can see how smooth it is.
And then we're going to put wax in that now. Here's some wax patterns that he's got.
Bronze.
Yeah.
Right, you can see through
Yep.
that. You can see those little fingers on the top there.
Yep.
It's
It's quite detailed, isn't it?
Yeah, if you look really closely, you can even see the printer marks, like the layers on the side of it.
Alright.
So the investment's quite detailed.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Right, here's another one there.
Yeah, just smooth. Oh, this is the application of wax.
Cool.
Is that a titanium implant, is it?
That is. That's just the casting that goes over the top.
So the guy's probably already got these installed in his head.
Yep.
How much are these things worth to a consumer?
Finished with the crown on top.
Yeah.
About $4,000 each.
So do you call it a sprue that you're putting it on, or what do you?
Yeah, this part's your sprue.
Yep.
That's a reservoir, or for induction casting it's called a flush head, which serves a different purpose.
Okay.
Well, it serves two purposes,
Right.
not just a reservoir. Because
Yeah.
the theory behind it is, as you know, when you heat things up they expand,
Yeah.
and when they cool down they contract.
So that gives it somewhere to move to.
No, when your metal's first cast in, it's really hot. It's so hot that it's molten.
Right.
Okay, as the metal solidifies, it will shrink. Now, thin areas solidify first,
Right.
thick areas solidify last.
Yeah.
As it solidifies, it shrinks. So if you've got a really thick area, close to a thick area that you're casting,
Yeah.
as long as this part is the reservoir is thicker than the casting itself, the reservoir is going to cool last. So as the casting shrinks, it draws metal in from the reservoir.
Ah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
And that'll save you getting any porosity in it. See, there's all different kinds of porosity. There's inclusion porosity, gaseous porosity, shrinkage porosity. All that. To get rid of shrinkage porosity, you put a thick reservoir on it, and therefore when the rest of the crown cools, it draws from the thick part there.
Yeah.
So the casting itself
And you're gonna
remains homogeneous and dense.
Are you going to put another one on the other one, or?
Now the other one's thin enough that it'll take care of, like it won't be.
You only know that through experience, I guess.
Look, it wouldn't hurt,
Yeah.
and if I do get a bit of porosity, I can quite easily weld it up with my welder.
Okay.
So it's at the size where it's a bit of hit and miss.
Right.
But as you can see, when you put a reservoir on there,
Yeah.
because you got, I'll join it up in a minute to the rest of the casting with a little really thin sprue, but you lose detail because you've got to connect it to the surface. You've got to connect it like it's molten there, so you lose that detail and you have to carve it out of the metal.
Yeah. Okay.
So I try to minimise that as much as I can.
Right.
What I do, these little bits of blue wax. Probably should have done this before, but I can do it now. It's not a big deal. I'll just put it there. Connect it there. You connect it there. Yeah. And that also serves as a crystallization point.
Yep.
Where, because it's thin,
Yeah. It'll
it'll
start
to
first.
crystallise there and then
Yeah.
continue on from that spot, so you can control where your casting starts to solidify,
Right.
as opposed to just letting it go on its own. And
Yeah, I see. So it'll start up there next to that.
Yeah, which is furthest away from the point where it joins,
Yeah. Okay.
because that's a thick area too.
Yeah.
And I can't put these things everywhere because then I'll just end up with a big blob. So what I'll do there is I'll join that with that, and this part here will start to solidify before this one does. So the solidification will go in that direction towards the sprue.
It's quite a science, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But once you get the hang of it, it's not a problem.
Okay, so that goes over the top, and then you pour investment into that, do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, because we deal with fits and we have to control the expansion,
Yeah.
because again, when you heat things up, they expand, and when you cool them down, they'll contract. So if we've got this size here, and we pour molten metal in it, the molten metal is going to fill the mould and then shrink because it solidifies.
All right.
So we have to expand the mould beforehand.
Okay.
And how we expand the mould is by adding colloidal silica. Well, the investment's got some expansion on its own, but very, very little.
Yeah.
But because I mix it in a ratio of colloidal silica and water, the ratio can determine the amount of expansion in the mould. And we're talking up to 2% or thereabouts, you know what I mean, roughly speaking.
Yeah.
So if I know I'm going to get a contraction rate of, say, 1.5% or something like that, I can expand my mould by 1.5%. So at the end of the day, after I cast, the cool shrunken metal is going into a mould which is 1.5% bigger.
Yeah.
So therefore it will shrink down to the right size.
Wow.
And it has to be so accurate that sort of you'll see the fit after we cast these and sandblast and clean and everything. I'll fit it back on there and you can see the fit. It's quite good.
Okay. So in dental that'd be significant, but in jewellery work it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. But it's handy to know the theory behind all this sort of stuff, because then you can manipulate your materials. Yeah. And you can, if you're getting problems like porosities, A, you learn what kind of porosity it is, and B, what you can do to alleviate it, because shrinkage porosity is not the same as inclusion porosity. Like if you're casting resin patterns and you're getting chunks of inclusions in there, that's nothing to do with the screwing, so it's pointless changing the screwing. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Yep. So as long as you learn to recognise all that. Right. Now, there's that. There's our wax cast. As you can see, it's pretty smooth. There it is, looking good. We'll clean the edges up, do you? Yeah. Then you go in the vacuum. Stick it in here. Hit the vacuum. Stirring and removing the bubbles. Give it a contraption. Yeah, it's one of these for $4.5 grand. Pretty specialist equipment, isn't it? Yeah, but it's simple really. All it is a motor to turn that and a vacuum pump inside. So, anyway, mixing that. The same thing with a fridge pump and a bit of a shake. It's a very homogeneous, smooth mix. Yep. They're dribbling it down into the little holes and wells, eh? Yeah, so I don't get bubbles in it. Yeah. By trapping it, by pouring it in all at once. So I'll pour it in like that first. Now this one here has got a hole in the top of it. So the investment will flow through. But what I'm doing first is wetting the surface. Right. So now see on that one how it runs out. You don't get any surface tension bubble thing. Yeah. I'll blow it through. Yeah. So you can see the hole going through the casting. Yeah. There. And when I fill it up, you can see it coming up through the hole. Yeah. And see how it'll fill it up now. It'll fill it up bubble free on the inside. Yeah, nice. Yeah, quite warm, probably about 60 degrees. Pretty hard. Yep. Take it off. There's the funnel. Wax. In for the burn. 9 hunch. How long will you do that? Half an hour. Half an hour. I can't hear you, break it. Electro's just on the phone. I'll just have a look at this cell. Yeah. His mate's been playing around this while we've been doing the moulding. This has just been fired up.
I'll just show you that if we measure across here, there'll be voltage because it holds voltage like a battery. Where's the multimeter? You get 1.6 volts. These are his various stations where things are set up. You got a gas tap over there, vacuum there, compressed air. Each different station set up for different work. A welder. All these hydrogen research is going on over here.
There.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Put it on.
Yep.
Make sure the wax doesn't touch the sides anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Any paper do, or is tissue the best?
Fluffy paper.
Right. Beautiful.
Put your timer on for 15 minutes. Off checking mode.
Mm-hmm. What's happening now?
Pulling a vacuum from
Right.
the chamber.
Uh-huh.
Goes through the casting motion.
Okay. Right.
Ready. Now, you heard it pull a vacuum, then you heard the air come back into it.
Hmm.
Theory behind that is you melt this in a vacuum so it doesn't oxidise.
Yeah.
It doesn't burn off any of your constituent metals,
Yeah.
which will change your thermal expansion.
All right.
You want to keep all that as it is from the factory. So
Yeah.
you melt it in a vacuum, minimal oxidation.
Yeah.
Then when it casts it, when you push the button to cast, it leans over so it pours the molten metal into the mould,
Yeah.
and then you had the air come back into it.
Yep.
Now, with centrifugal force, you're working on centrifugal force to push the metal into the sprue, into the cavity.
Yeah.
But when you're casting, there's a complex shape,
Yeah.
and you've got areas where the sprue might go in here, but the casting might go back there like that. Centrifugal force is going to fight against that, and you might get miscastings in that area.
Okay.
What this does is, because it's in a vacuum, when it leans over,
Yep.
it times it just right, so when the metal pours into the mould,
Yep.
it releases a 6 bar pressure
Right.
or 5 bar pressure
Uh-huh.
into the chamber.
Yeah.
So you've got a sort of hydraulic pressure coming from the air pushing the metal into the mould.
Oh, okay.
So it's acting as a hydraulic cylinder,
Yeah, right.
not as a centrifugal force, which means your sprue can be here and you'll push it and it'll go higher than the sprue, so you get more detailed castings.
Right.
You don't get as many miscasts or anything like
Okay.
that. But that's for a machine like this.
Yeah.
With centrifugal casting, you don't get that. Anyway, there's my metal.
Yep.
The button and all that, I sandblasted before I put it in here, so that it's clean of oxide and all that.
Okay.
That's the one I showed you down the floor. Alloy. That's the alloy I'll be using there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Pre-melt. It's pulling a vacuum. It's reached the target vacuum.
Right.
It's starting to heat it now.
Right.
So Yes, the induction coil's heating it.
Yeah.
Ah,
What happened then?
this draws 2000 watts and so does that.
And you've tripped your RCD.
Yep.
What kind of metal was it again?
Chrome cobalt.
Right.
Main melt. Now, you see it this time, it'll start to melt. And just before I cast it, you'll see a vapour forming, and instead of going up like it normally would because it's hot, it'll go sideways to the crucible wall. That's because of the magnetic field. Yeah. You probably won't see it on that, you'll have to look down here to see it, because when I did it with my phone, I couldn't see the vapour. Also, have a look at the oxide crystals forming. Look through here, you can see them. See how quickly they appear? Yeah. And then they'll disappear. That's oxide. So now you see the swirl in the inside?
It's not showing on the camera.
No, you see that swirl?
Yep.
See the vapour?
Yep.
It's going to the side.
Yeah.
It's not rising up high. Here's the gas come back into it, and that's forcing it into the mould.
Right.
And done.
Wow.
And oxide free. Even though it still had oxide, you can see the oxide disappearing when it melts. It doesn't melt the oxide disappears because there's no oxygen for it to react with, etc. So there's your casting.
Yeah, nice.
You let that cool down. Done. Now turn that off, turn this back on. That should still be like 100 degrees. So that should be when your timer goes off. We'll chuck that in there half an hour later.
Yep.
Ready to cast.
Cool.
Now, have you got your silver?
Yep. Reason for the carbon? Stop it soaking into that, or?
Keeps a lot of the oxygen, or what little oxygen there will be there, it keeps a lot of it away. It also facilitates pouring because this is very porous. And as you notice, the crucible doesn't get that hot. So you get a lot of solidification coming out.
Right.
Whereas the carbon crucible, the machine
get hot
actually,
with it because it's carbon and it's conductive. Okay.
It'll heat up the crucible, and the crucible itself will melt the silver as well as the induction.
Got it.
So it's better for casting.
It'll help it pour and it'll help it heat. And it'll stop it sticking to the wall. Right.
So you don't lose half your metal on the side of the crucible.
Red, cavity's clean, looking good. That's the two rings. Turn him off so he doesn't trip the breaker.
Which nobody knows.
Silver's in.
Right, put it in there. Alloy 65S. It's a milder program because it's a gold program.
Right. Going to be alright for silver.
3 mil. Watch. You can't really see through that because you've got to watch the oxide melt and all that.
Yeah, it sort of whites out.
Done.
Empty. No pacemakers.
No. High frequency induction. Like.
Yep.
Right, so you just hammer it out. The bottom break off. There's the bottom of the casting. Force that through the top. See why the paper now gives it. It's easy to slide out. Back plaster shears.
Nice.
Then we'll take that over to the sandblaster. Put it on the course. See the porosity there?
Yeah.
It's forming here.
Mm-hmm.
And it should, well, it's actually has got a bit still there.
Okay.
But that's alright, I can just zap that with a welder after I dig it out.
Mm-hmm.
The other one should be fairly clean. You know, now I've got a couple of small bubbles on the inside. Give you an idea how sharp these tungstens are. This is cobalt chrome, so it's pretty hard metal.
Yeah.
It's chrome, so it's around the 400 Vickers hardness. See how it cuts through that?
Wow. Where do you get this slow speed Dremel with the quick fit? Bloody, that's a fancy bit of gear.
Yeah, this is like $2.5 grand.
Okay.
It's pretty expensive.
Pretty expensive Dremel, that one.
Yeah. It'll work.
Yeah.
And there's the porcelain on top.
Right. It's like a real tooth, mate.
Yeah, that's the
plan.
That's the plan. So yeah, that's how we make them.
So there's the silver. Once was a spoon.
Let that cool down a bit more, and then we'll chuck it in the water. Take it over the sandblaster. So the sprue was too thin for it, and it's caused the ring. Actually, that's a broken wax pattern, isn't it? I didn't check this before we put it in, but that's a broken pattern.
Okay.
That one there's just a bit short there, but you could probably fill that up with solder.
Yeah.
But
I can work with both bits.
yeah.
So we're looking at this picture here, and we're looking at this device that he's made.
Water inlet,
Right.
ionised gas inlet,
Yeah.
non-combustible gas inlet,
Alright.
10th hour slots.
Shit.
But I've made mine in ceramic, whereas everybody else has the metal ones.
Right.
All the other guys, but I don't have metal machining capabilities.
Yeah.
But I do have ceramic machining capabilities, so I've made it there.
This train's next step final stop will be Hornsby, where this train will terminate. All passengers please alight from the train.